welcome you in the lecture series of random processes, detection and estimation. It is the 14th lecture of this series. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about multiple hypothesis testing and composite hypothesis testing, where we have discussed Bayesian approach for the composite hypothesis testing. In this lecture, we will discuss more about the composite hypothesis testing, and the outline of this lecture are composite hypothesis testing, where we will discuss about generalized likelihood ratio test (GLRT). The Bayesian approach we have already discussed in the previous lecture, and also we will discuss here the locally optimum test and asymptotic relative efficiency. And in the objective of this lecture, you will able to explain what is the GLRT and what is locally optimum test, and you will also able to explain the asymptotic relative efficiency. So now let us start with the generalized likelihood ratio test. As you know, we have discussed in the previous lecture the Bayesian approach for the composite hypothesis testing. The Bayesian approach for the composite hypothesis testing has some limitations. In some situation, it is not obvious how to assign the prior probability to the hypothesis. And if both the hypotheses contain unknown parameters, then finding the Bayesian solution becomes very difficult, and the involved integrals do not give the closed form of the solution. So to overcome these limitations, we can use generalized likelihood ratio test (GLRT). In this approach, the unknown parameters are first estimated from the observed data under either or both the hypotheses. In GLRT, the unknown parameters are replaced by their maximum likelihood estimate in the likelihood ratio. So the GLRT that decide H1 or H0, if the GLRT test, likelihood ratio test for the generalized likelihood, it will be the PDF x theta 1 cap H1, and divided by it is P x theta 2 H0 greater than less than threshold value gamma. Here this theta 1 cap is the maximum likelihood estimate of theta 1. Assume that H1 is true. So under the hypothesis H1, this is the PDF where the unknown parameter theta is estimated with the maximum likelihood estimator, and here theta 2 is the maximum likelihood estimate of the theta naught, and assuming here the H naught is true. Now, this approach also provides information about the unknown parameters, because we have estimated the unknown parameters, so we can get more information about the unknown parameters. So maximum likelihood estimator, at this moment, we just briefly describe about the maximum likelihood estimate for this instant. You can consider the likelihood function is, the likelihood function is the Px theta, where theta is the unknown parameters. So here the maximum likelihood estimate defined as to maximize the this likelihood function means maximization of this likelihood function with the theta, and this is known as the maximum likelihood estimator, or the estimated value of this theta. And the estimator m theta ml theta cap is the asymptotic unbiased. Asymptotically unbiased means when we are having the large number of samples, means when limit n tends to infinity, the estimated value of theta will be equal to the true value of theta. This is unbiased, and it is also asymptotically efficient. Asymptotically efficient means with a large number of data, the variance of this estimated value of theta will be the Cramer-Rao lower bound, CRLB. And we will discuss more about estimation when we will discuss the estimation section in the further lectures. Now let us consider one example to understand what is the maximum likelihood estimator or maximum likelihood estimate value. Consider x1, x2, xn are the random samples of normal random variable x with unknown mean mu and variance sigma square. So these parameters mu and sigma square are unknown here, and so determine the maximum likelihood estimator or estimate value of mu and sigma square. So you have to find estimate the value of these two unknown parameters. So first of all, you know the likelihood function here is px1 to xn with mu and sigma square, the unknown parameters. This PDF involve the unknown parameters of this likelihood function. So it will be the pi I1 to n 1 upon under root 2 pi sigma is to the power minus xi minus mu whole square by 2 sigma square, because this pi denotes the product of the PDFs, because so you can write here is it as 1 by 2 pi is to the power m by 2 into 1 by sigma is to the power n is to the power minus summation I 0 to n xi minus mu whole square by 2 sigma square. Now, taking the natural log of this likelihood function that involves the unknown parameters mu and sigma square. So after taking natural log, you will get log e, the likelihood function which involves the unknown parameters mu and sigma square. It will be equal to n by 2 log e 2 pi minus n log e sigma minus 1 by 2 sigma square summation I 1 to n xi minus mu whole square. So in order to find out mu and sigma square, first we compute the first derivative with respect to mu and with respect to sigma of this likelihood function. So first we will take the derivative with respect to mu. So del by del mu log e l mu sigma square. So it will be 1 by sigma square summation I 1 to n xi minus mu, and that first derivative with respect to sigma, it will be 1 by del sigma log e l mu sigma square. It will be equal to minus n by sigma plus 1 by sigma cube summation n 1 to I 1 to n xi minus mu whole square. So equating these two equations 0, we will get summation I 1 to n xi minus the estimated value of mu with this maximum likelihood condition is equal to 0, and this the estimated mean here. It will be 1 by n summation I 1 to n xi, and it is the sample mean here. So estimated value of mean means the sample mean of the observed samples, and from the second equation we will get sigma ml cap cube summation I 1 to n xi minus the estimated value of mu is equal to n by estimated value of sigma. So from this you can conclude that the estimated value of sigma square, it will be 1 by n summation I 1 to n xi minus the estimated value of mean whole square. So these two values are the estimated value of mean and variance, and here these are the value of the random variables here, and the maximum likelihood estimator for mu and sigma square will be here the estimator of mu will be 1 by n summation I 1 to n xi. So here it is the random variable, and this is the value of that random variable. So when we are using this is the sample mean of the random sample, so this is known as the estimator, and when we are using the value, this is the estimated value, and this is the estimator when we are using the random variable. And the estimator of the variance, it will be 1 by n summation I 1 to n xi minus x bar whole square, mean value of the random sample. Now take another example. This is where we have to detect DC level in white Gaussian noise. Hypothesis H0 corresponds to A is equal to 0 and H1 corresponds to A not equal to 0. So from here you can see that there is no known parameter under H0. No known parameter under this H0 hypothesis. So find the GLRT test. You know, GLRT decide H1 or H0 when the GLRT ratio, the PDF under hypothesis H1 Px A cap H1 and PDF under hypothesis H0 Px H0. Here Px A cap is the estimated value of A here. So the estimated value of A, as from the previous case you know, is the sample mean 1 by n summation I 0 to n minus 1 xi. So you can find out the GLRT ratio. It will be 1 by 2 pi to the power n by 2 into 1 by sigma is to the power n, e is to the power minus 1 by 2 sigma square summation n 0 to n minus 1 xn minus x bar sample mean whole square divided by 1 by 2 pi is to the power n by 2 into 1 by sigma is to the power n, e is to the power minus 1 by 2 sigma square summation n 0 to n minus 1 x square n, and this will be greater than less than threshold value gamma. So taking the natural log here, so here under hypothesis H0, you know, xn will be omega and only noise will present a 0, and under hypothesis H1 you can consider the observed sample xn will be a plus omega n. So that's why here the mean value is 0 and the mean value. So now taking natural log of this, you will get minus 1 by 2 sigma square summation n 0 to n minus 1 x square n minus 2 x bar summation n 0 to n minus 1 xn plus n x bar square minus summation n 0 to n minus 1 x square n, and greater than less than log e. So from this you can also write 1 by 2 sigma square minus 2n x bar square plus n x bar square greater than less than log e gamma. And you can also write the expression as n x bar square minus 2 sigma square greater than less than log e gamma. And also you can write x bar square greater than less than 2 sigma square by n log e gamma. And this is the new threshold value gamma dash. So from here you can conclude that the mode of sample mean greater than less than gamma dash means when the mode of the sample mean greater than threshold value gamma dash, then we will decide H1, and when this value is less than threshold value gamma dash, then we will decide H0. And you can see this form of detector is identical to that has been obtained using the Bayesian approach, but using the GLRT this is much simpler than that of Bayesian approach. Now, what is locally optimum test? In many practical importance, we can develop the optimum decision rule according to certain criteria. The NP test and Bayesian test. The optimum test consists of processing of observation of X to find the likelihood ratio, and then compare the likelihood ratio to some threshold value, and when this likelihood ratio greater than gamma or some threshold value, then you will decide H1, and if the likelihood ratio less than some threshold value, then you will decide the H0 is true. When the uniformly most powerful or optimum detector is not available, the locally optimum detectors can be used. The locally optimum detectors are used in detecting the weak signals because the detection of weak signal is more difficult than the detection of the signal which are comparably in strength to the noise process. The locally optimum detector test statistic for known signal EI in the additive noise model is, and the test statistic is summation I 1 to n and summation j 1 to n EI gx ij. So when L is equal to 1, a single channel case, it is known as locally optimum detector test statistic. For the general NP detector, the locally optimum detector test statistic for theta is equal to 0 versus theta greater than 0 is, it will be phi 0x when theta is equal to 0 divided by phi 0x. So for the problem of signal detection in noise, the optimum or most powerful detector, that is NP detector, Bayesian detector, are used. For detecting signals in non-Gaussian noise, we can concentrate on the problem of designing detector for weak signal, which results in locally optimum detector. The non-Gaussian noise characteristics. So first we will discuss here. The simplest type of non-Gaussian noise is one for which the sample omega n are independent, identically distributed, for which each sample has first order PDF and that does not obey the Gaussian form. For example, the Laplacian PDF, it obey the Laplacian PDF, for example. So the PDF of the noise, it will be 1 by under root 2 sigma is to the power minus under root 2 by sigma square omega n, and sigma square is the variance of the noise power. And similarly, the Gaussian PDF with the same variance, sigma square, it will be 1 by under root 2 pi sigma is to the power minus omega square and by 2 sigma square. So you can see the comparison for the same variance and different PDF for the Laplacian PDF and for the Gaussian PDF, and each PDF having the zero mean. And the degree of non-Gaussianity of the zero mean PDF is measured by the gamma 2, and the gamma 2 is defined as the expected value of omega is to the power 4n divided by the whole square of the expected value of omega square n minus 3. And the for Gaussian PDF, gamma 2 is 0. Since expected value of omega is to the power 4 and it will be 3 sigma is to the power 4, and for Laplacian PDF, gamma 2 is 3, since the expected value of omega is to the power 4 and is 6 sigma is to the power 4. Let us take one example. Consider the problem of DC level in identically distributed non-Gaussian noise. There are two hypotheses. H0, the observed sample xn, is equal to omega n, and H1 corresponds to xn 1 plus omega n, means in the hypothesis H0 there is only noise, and correspond to hypothesis H1 the DC level is present with the non-Gaussian noise, and here a greater than 0 and omega n are independent identically samples with non-PDF, and apply NP detector here. So NP detector decide H1 or H0 if the likelihood ratio, means the PDF under hypothesis H1 divided by PDF under hypothesis H0 will be greater than less than some threshold value. So due to this IID assumption, we have the likelihood ratio, it will be pi n0 to n minus 1 PDF of under hypothesis H1 divided by PDF under hypothesis H0 and pi n0 to n minus 1 greater than less than threshold value gamma. So you can write it as under hypothesis H1, you can write n0 to n minus 1 p xn minus a divided by n0 to n minus 1 p xn greater than less than gamma. So taking natural log of this, you will get log ex is equal to summation n0 to n minus 1 log e Pxn minus a by Pxn greater than less than log e gamma. So let here gx is equal to log e Pxn minus a upon Pxn. So if we consider this is gx, so you can write this expression as summation n0 to n minus 1 gxn greater than less than gamma dash. And for the white Gaussian noise problem, you can write gx as log e 1 by under root 2 pi gamma e to the power minus x minus a whole square by 2 sigma square divided by 1 by under root 2 pi sigma e to the power minus x square by 2 sigma square. And you can write it as ax by sigma square minus a square by 2 sigma square. So you can see here gx is linear with x for the white Gaussian noise case, means this log likelihood ratio will be the linear with x. Now for the Laplacian PDF, we have gx is equal to log e 1 by under root 2 sigma e to the power minus under root 2 by sigma square mod x minus a divided by 1 by under root 2 sigma e to the power minus under root 2 by sigma square mod x. So from here I can write it as 1 under root 2 by sigma square mod x minus a. Let yn is equal to xn minus a by 2. So under hypothesis h1 the expected value of yn it will be minus a by 2, and under hypothesis h1 the expected value of yn it will be a by 2. So you can have summation n0 to n minus 1, the log likelihood function it will be summation n0 to n minus 1 g yn plus a by 2 greater than less than h1 threshold value gamma dash. You can also write summation n0 to n minus 1 if I put this expression as hyn greater than less than gamma dash. So hy it will be gy plus a by 2 for log e py minus a by 2 to py plus a by 2. So you can see this gx shows the non-linearity for the Laplacian PDF, and in case of the Gaussian PDF gx is linear with x, but here this is non-linear with x, or you can say with y is non-linear. So from the previous slide you have equation summation n0 to n minus 1 g yn plus a by 2 greater than less than h1 h0 threshold value gamma dash, or you can write it as summation n0 to n minus 1 hyn greater than less than h1 h0 gamma dash. So the NP detector for DC level in independent identically distributed Laplacian noise. So the block diagram will be xn plus xn minus a by 2 yn. So here yn plus a by 2 it will be xn gx. So gxn in place of gxn you have written here gxn plus a by 2. So here the output x in place of xn you will write yn plus a by 2, and after this you will have limiter. This means hyn means you have considered hyn is equal to gyn plus a by 2, and after this limiter you have performed summation on this value, and after getting this likelihood ratio then you compare this likelihood ratio with the threshold value gamma dash, and if this value is greater than gamma dash, then you will decide the hypothesis H1 is true. And if this value is less than some threshold value gamma dash, then you will decide the hypothesis H0. So this is the block diagram for the NP detector for DC level in independent identically distributed Laplacian noise. For the detection of non-deterministic signal Sn in independent identically distributed non-Gaussian noise with PDF omega n. So here H and y, it will be log E P y minus A Sn by 2 divided by P y plus A Sn by 2. Here instead of simple A by 2 you are having the signal A into Sn, means the Xn you have, it is A Sn plus omega n, means signal is present with the noise. This is non-Gaussian noise. So the NP detector for the non-deterministic signal in independent identically distributed non-Gaussian noise. So first of all you have to measure yn plus Asn by 2, and then the symmetric limiter here hny means log E P y minus Asn by 2 divided by Py A y plus Asn by 2. So you have calculated here this value, and after taking the summation of this summation n, this h and y, and compare this with the threshold value gamma dash, and if this value is greater than threshold value gamma dash, then you will decide the hypothesis H1 is correct, and if this is less than the threshold value, then you will decide H0 is correct. And when A tends to 0, we consider the signal is weak and expand G and X in the first order Taylor expansion. So then we can write G and X is equal to log E P X minus Asn by Px, or you can write it as 0 plus the first derivative of the noise divided by the noise, the PDF of the noise. So it will be equal to minus dpx by dx divided by px Sn into A. So we decide H1 or H0 if the summation n0 to n minus 1 G and X, or you can say summation n0 to n minus 1 dpxn by dxn divided by pxn Sn A greater than less than threshold value gamma dash. So the test statistic, it will be the n0 summation n0 to n minus 1 dpxn by dxn pxn Sn greater than less than threshold value gamma dash. So it is known as locally optimum detector or the asymptotically optimum detector. So this is the block diagram for the NP detector for non-weak deterministic signal. Here Gxn is the is equal to minus dpx by dx, and px means the first derivative of the PDF of x divided by the PDF of x. This is the limiter Gx here, and this is the correlator, means you have to multiply this Gx with the Sn, and after taking this summation n0 to n minus 1 Gx Sn and compare it with the threshold value. When the threshold it is greater than some it is greater than some threshold value gamma double dash, then you will decide H1 is hypothesis H1 is correct, and when this value is less than threshold value gamma double dash, then you will decide the hypothesis H0 is true. Now asymptotic relative efficiency, we know the probability of detection is Q inverse PF minus D square, D square is the deflection coefficient here, and we have derived this expression in the previous lectures. And the deflection coefficient can be expressed as the whole square of the difference between the expected value under the hypothesis H1 and the expected value under hypothesis H0 divided by variance of the test statistics under hypothesis H0. So the expected value of the test statistic under hypothesis H1 ET H1 minus the expected value of test statistics under hypothesis H0, it will be E T H0 whole square by variance T H0, and it will be a square IA summation n0 to n minus 1 s square n. The deflection coefficient for this detector is also related to the efficiency of the test statistic. In comparing two detectors for the large data records, we can use the ratio of the deflection coefficient. This measure is known as the asymptotic relative efficiency. And if IA is equal to 2 by sigma square, then the deflection coefficient, it will be 2n a square by sigma square. So far we have discussed the parametric detectors. In summarized form, the Bayesian detector is the most general detector which not only account for the prior probabilities for the hypothesis but also the cost of each of the decision made. It minimizes the average cost of the risk in decision making. The Minimax detector is a variant of the Bayesian detector which accounts for the uncertainty about the choosing the prior probabilities. It minimizes the average cost in decision making. And the Neyman-Pearson detector is the well-known classical detector which optimizes the detection probability given for a given fixed level of false alarm probability. It is based on the observed data only and does not require any prior information about the hypothesis. As a result, for this, it can be applied in most all detection problems. And in contrast to the simple hypothesis testing, where the PDF under all hypotheses is completely known, the composite hypothesis testing, where one or more hypotheses have unknown parameters, is much more challenging. In the Bayesian approach to composite hypothesis testing, the likelihood ratio test is performed by the integrating out the unknown parameters using its prior PDF. This approach is the form of optimal detector, but in general, it does not lead to closed form derivation for the detector. The generalized likelihood ratio test (GLRT) form the most commonly used approach for the composite hypothesis testing. In this approach, the unknown parameter is substituted with its maximum likelihood estimate obtained from the observed data to perform the likelihood ratio test. The GLRT approach is very effective in practice, though the optimality of the resulting detector is not guaranteed in all the cases. This was the 14th lecture of the lecture series of random processes detection and estimation. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the detection of deterministic signal with matched filter detector. Till then, thanks for listening this lecture. Thank you.